The fire was small that night. Small fires don't call attention, not with lions nearby. Dorn didn't like small fires. He was 19, fast on his feet and sure of his own strength. He wanted a fire that lit up the whole cliff face. He wanted the herd to see it, the sky to see it, everyone to see it. Across the flames sat Mika. Mika was older. Mika had one good hand. Years before, a cave lion had taken the other. Now the young hunters called him the broken one behind his back. Some said it to his face. "Keep the fire low," Mika said that night, not looking up from the strip of hide he was working. "The Pride crossed the ridge this morning. I saw the grass bent the wrong way." Dorn almost laughed. "Bent grass? You always see something in bent grass." "I've been wrong about many things. Not this." Nobody backed him. The younger hunters shared a look. The look people give a man who lost his hand, and they believed lost his nerve along with it. The herd was 2 days from the calving grounds, 2 days from safety, from food enough to last the whole band through the dark months. Dorn had convinced the others, push hard now, push straight along the cliff trail and reach the grounds before the storms came in from the sea. Mika had wanted to go the long way, around the gorge, slower, safer. "The long way loses us a full day," Dorn said. "A day we don't have." "A day is nothing next to a life," Mika answered. Dorn stood, brushing dust from his knees. "You've been saying that since you lost your hand. Maybe it's time someone else decided which way we walk." The fire cracked. No one spoke. Far off, past the ridge, something moved through the tall grass, low, patient, unseen by anyone at the fire. It had been following the herd for 3 days already. It would follow them for one more. They set out at first light, Dorn leading. The cliff trail cut a narrow shelf along the rock face, herd animals ahead, hunters strung out behind them in a thin line. Mika walked near the back. He watched the grass more than the trail. By midday, the wind shifted. It came up from the gorge now, carrying the herd's scent down toward the low scrub instead of away from it. Mika stopped walking. He crouched, touched the ground, looked at a broken stem no one else had noticed. "They've crossed onto this side," he said, to no one in particular. "The wind gave us away an hour ago." A young hunter named Sella heard him. She was new to the band, still young enough to ask questions instead of pretending she already knew the answers. "How can you tell?" she asked. "The grass doesn't lie. Only people do that." He caught up to Dorn and said it plainly this time. "We need to close the line, keep the young ones and the old ones in the middle, now." Dorn didn't stop walking. "We're almost past the narrows. We close ranks, we slow down, and the storm catches us on open ground instead." "The storm won't be what kills anyone today." Dorn turned, finally, temper rising. "You say that every trip, every single time, and every time we arrive just fine." "We arrive fine," he said quietly, "because every time someone listens to some of what I say, just not all of it." Nobody answered that. The line stayed loose. The herd pressed on, and in the brush below the shelf trail, 3 lionesses moved parallel to them, unseen, patient, reading the same signs Mika had read: the wind, the noise, the gaps between the walking figures. They chose their gap an hour later. It happened fast, a cry from the rear of the line, the herd animals bolting sideways, scattering the loose formation instead of protecting it. Sella went down hard, tangled with a young pack-carrier boy no older than 12. Dorn spun back toward the sound and understood in that half-second exactly what a gap in a line was worth. Mika was already moving, not toward the danger to prove anything, just moving, the way a man moves when he has already decided long before this moment exactly what he will do if it ever comes. One good hand. That's all Mika had ever had, since the year the first lion took the other. He reached Sella and the boy before Dorn did. He didn't shout, he didn't run in wildly, swinging a spear like the younger hunters trained to do. He moved low and slow and sure, the way a man moves who has been this close to a lion before and lived only because he understood something the others didn't. He understood that lions read panic. Panic looks like prey. "Up," he said to Sella, voice flat and calm. "Slowly. Eyes behind you. Eyes on me, not on it." Sella obeyed. Her hands were shaking. Mika's weren't. The lioness held her ground for 3 long seconds. 3 seconds that felt, to everyone watching from the trail above, like the length of a whole season. Mika didn't step back. He didn't step forward either. He simply stood between the animal and the children, one arm raised, the scarred stump of the other tucked close, and he made himself something the lion could not easily read, not fleeing, not charging, just there, immovable, a shape she had no simple answer for. It was Dorn who broke the silence, finally reaching the ridge above them with 2 other hunters, spears low and ready, shouting the old signal cry the band used to startle a stalking cat off its kill before it had truly committed to the strike. The noise, the numbers, the shape of the group closing around her, it was enough. The lioness melted back into the grass as quietly as she'd arrived and was gone. Nobody spoke for a long moment. Sella was crying, quietly, the way people cry when they understand how close a thing came, without having to be told. Dorn climbed down to where Mika stood. He looked at the older man's face, and then at the stump of his arm, and something shifted behind his eyes, the first honest look he'd given Mika in years. "You knew, this morning, the wind, you actually knew." "I didn't know," Mika said. "I was afraid. That's different. Fear is what taught me to watch the grass in the first place." That night, they made camp early, and for the first time in the whole journey, nobody argued about how big to build the fire. Dorn built it low himself, without being asked. They reached the calving grounds a full day late. The storm caught the very edge of their trail, not the middle of it, and everyone made it under shelter before the worst of the rain came down. A full day, the very thing Dorn had feared losing. It turned out not to matter at all. That evening, sitting under the rock overhang with the storm hissing outside, Dorn sat down next to Mika for the first time in the whole journey, not across the fire from him, beside him. "I wanted to be the one who got us here fastest," Dorn said. "I never once asked if I was getting us here safest." Mika turned the strip of hide over in his good hand, working it slowly. "Fastest is easy to measure. Safest only shows itself in the moment you almost lose it." "You could have said that this morning, instead of just watching the grass." "I did say it," Mika answered. "You weren't ready to hear it as anything but an old man's caution. Some lessons don't land as words. They have to land as a lioness in the grass." Dorn was quiet for a while. Then he asked the question he'd never once asked in 3 years of hunting beside this man. "Does it still hurt, the arm?" "Some mornings," Mika said. "Not the way you'd think. It doesn't hurt like pain. It hurts like a reminder. Every scar I carry taught me something I couldn't have learned any softer way. I'd rather teach it to you in words, if you'll let me. It's a kinder way to learn it." Sela, sitting nearby with the boy asleep against her shoulder, spoke up quietly. "I'll listen, next time, to all of it, not just the part that's convenient." Mika smiled at that. Small, tired, real. That's the only lesson that ever mattered. Not who's right, who's still listening when it counts. I think about Mika a lot when I tell stories like this one. We live in a world that rewards the loud fire, the fast trail, the person who sounds most certain. We're taught to trust confidence over quiet caution, speed over patience, the strong hand over the scarred one. But the truth our ancestors learned hard and slow over hundreds of thousands of years of sharing this earth with animals that could kill them in seconds is that survival never belonged to the strongest voice in the group. It belonged to the ones who stayed calm when panic would have gotten them killed. It belonged to the ones who watched the grass. It belonged to the ones humble enough to listen to a warning even when it came from someone the group had stopped taking seriously. Here's the thought I want to leave you with tonight. The people who survive aren't the ones who never get afraid. They're the ones who let that fear teach them something and are generous enough to pass it on. Somewhere in your life right now, there might be a Mika, someone quieter, someone the group has quietly stopped listening to. It might be worth turning back to that fire and asking what they've been trying to tell you all along. Thank you for spending this time with me tonight. If this story meant something to you, consider liking the video and subscribing. It genuinely helps this channel keep telling stories like this one. And if you know someone who needs to hear tonight's story, share it with them. Until next time, stay warm, stay curious, and keep watching the grass.